friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is super exciting for me. We are going to be demoing and testing out the brand new Goss Luxury Foundation. It actually just showed up at my door and I had to jump in front of the camera. I took off all my makeup and I was like, we're doing it again. I'm sorry that my hair looks a little crazy. This is a very high pigment foundation. It has about 30% pigment in it, so it will be very high coverage from what he was saying on his demo when he announced that he was doing a complexion line. And I'm really excited to just get my hands on it and get going. I did apply a little bit of moisturizer because he said if you have more of a dewy finish moisturizer underneath this foundation, it will give you a dewier finish. If you use a matte finish moisturizer, it will give you more of a matte finish. I love that it's a little bit more curtailed to whatever your skin type is. It's very universal and it gives you a little bit more versatility because if you go in lightly with the product, you can get a lighter finish, or if you go heavier on the product, you can get a heavier finish, especially with the redness and stuff. We're going to do full coverage today. We will be using a beauty blender as well. And he said that you could use a brush, but to put it on with your fingers first and blend that out so that you don't get too much product. But what I'm going to do is clean up this beauty blender and I'm going to go ahead and use this today. But if you are new here, I didn't even get through my intro. So if you are new here, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you find value in my content, please share with your friends and let's get to it. So since this is the first time I've ever used anything from Goss, I went ahead and just kind of went ham. I did end up picking up the Radiance Boosting Face Palettes. I bought two. You can see I got my mitts all over it already. This one is the Bronze and Sculpt, and I also got the Dusty Rose and Honeysuckle. So I'm excited to use these two just to kind of round out the entire face. I know that he did launch a double-sided applicator with this. I did not pick that up, and setting powder. I was not in the market for setting powder, so I did not pick that up. But if you were in the market for it, I've heard it's amazing. So instead, I just picked up the foundation in these two palettes. I am so excited about this. It does retail for $38 and it is extremely high coverage if you apply it in a heavier manner. For me, I'm really just looking to cover some of this redness without it being cakey. So if it can achieve that, I'm all on board. The net weight is 28.3 grams, so it's about 1 ounce of product. I did pick up shade number 10. Looks like that. And then the inside is gorgeous. I'm so excited. Okay, so I did apply my It Cosmetics cream to my face because it does have a little bit of a dewier finish. I went ahead and wet my beauty blender, which is not actually a beauty blender, but I do like this flat side on this. So that's what I'm going to be dabbing onto the face. And let's go. All right. Okay, so it looks like that. Oh yeah. I think that this is gonna be perfect. I'm super excited about it. So there are 13 shades that are in this line. This is the third from lightest. This, I believe, had more of a pink undertone to it. That's why I picked this one up and not shade 9, which I think I could have probably picked up shade 9 and gotten away with it, but we will see. This gives me vibes of the Good Apple foundation from KVD, just right off the bat, the way that it applies and covers. It's kind of how I'm feeling, but I think it's absolutely stunning so far. My battery died, but so I went in and finished with the beauty blender and it was still giving me just a little bit of that redness through my cheeks here. And what I did was go in with a flat kabuki brush and just kind of stipple on a little bit more product. And so far I'm liking the finish. It hasn't dried down completely yet. It doesn't feel like I have a cast on my skin. You know, I want something that's a little bit breathable but does have coverage, and I feel like that's what this gives. But again, you can see a little bit of my redness, which is not a huge deal. I mean, no matter what I do, it's gonna pop through. I feel like it is buildable as well, which is wonderful. Let me go ahead and zoom you in so that you can see my skin for what it is. I don't put any filters or anything on my camera because I want you to be able to see what the makeup actually looks like, and I'm gonna let this dry down just a little bit more as well. So let me go ahead and just zoom you in. So you can see that it does cling a little bit to some dry patches that I have. For the most part, it is a very nice finish. It hasn't oxidized or anything here, and it does match my skin tone quite nicely. So that is an added benefit. I feel like a lot of the times the undertones don't match kind of what I'm going for, and it'll oxidize down to more of a, either orange or a yellow base, but this one, so far so good, is actually quite nice. It is creasing a little bit on my lids, but that's, you know, it's not a concealer. It's not something that bothers me. I'm more worried about creasing up on my forehead. There is a little bit, but again, it hasn't dried down yet and I haven't put any powder on. I wanted you to see what the foundation looked like by itself on my skin before I put any other products on top of it. It's not bad. It looks really nice. Feel like it's a nicer, more diffused version of my own skin. So that is very, very cool. Let me go ahead and zoom you back out. I'm gonna put a little bit of powder on. I'm gonna be using the number 7 powder, just in the T-zone. And from there, we will go ahead and probably put a little bit of powder on the cheeks as well before we go in with the palettes that I bought. So I am very, very light, as you can tell. I kind of look dead, just a little bit. So I am gonna go in with this powder. This is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in Light, which is practically translucent. And I'm just going to set the forehead. And this is a Kat Von D brush, number 20. So first I'm gonna go into this one, and this is the Radiance Boosting Face Palette in light gold, and it's a bronze and sculpt. It's got light taupe and soft gold. Looks like that. It's beautiful. I can't wait to get into this color right here. I think that this is going to be stunning, especially with a very clean base. With a Morphe R10, one of my favorite brushes, and I'm gonna just dab here. And I'm gonna start up high and just tap that on. And then blend out any harsh edges. I love the way this is looking. This hair today does not want to cooperate. It has a mind of its own. I keep pushing it back, it keeps coming forward. So I'm going in with the light hand. And I'm not trying to chisel out anything. I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of structure here, and I kind of want to bring it up. I don't want it to be down here. I want it to give more of a lifting look. This powder is extremely buildable, which is very nice. Works well with this foundation too. They play well together, which you would hope if it's from the same brand. That's beautiful. At least it's given me some color back into my face. It's playing well with the foundation underneath. I don't feel like it's taking anything off of my cheeks or anything like that. Going to use this on my jawline because you know how I love my shadow. See how beautiful that is? It's so seamless. And just being able to do a swiping motion like that and have a beautiful jawline, this powder is just beautiful and smooth. And again, it's buildable, which is really, really nice. So now that I've got a little bit more of a structured face, I'm gonna go in and put a little bit of this as a bronzer, and I'm going to use a more fluffy, not so concise brush. So I'm gonna go into my Sigma Large Angle Contour. Because it's less dense and a little bit more fluffy, I think that this will be perfect. I'm gonna dab into this shade here, kind of go over that lightly. Oh, it's so pretty. I love how it gives the skin a little bit more of a radiance look. It's just a little bit of shine. It's not chunky glitter at all. It just gives you a little bit of color that is stunning. So pretty. This powder is gorgeous. And I love how it's just lit from within. It's very natural, especially on somebody as fair as myself. It takes a lot to get me excited about a powder that doesn't make me turn orange. He nailed it with these. Oh my God. The foundation underneath and this, I can't wait to put the blush on. This is Dusty Rose and Honeysuckle. This is Dusty Rose. This is Honeysuckle, I think. We're gonna take this blush here with more of a sweeping motion because I don't want it to be too much. So this is just a no-name brush, but I love the way that it's tapered on the end and it's a little less dense. You can kind of just dab into the product easily and just sweep it. Oh, do you see how gorgeous that is? This powder again is super smooth as well. Just sweeping it across the face, not doing too much. The complexion, the complexion is so good. I'm so happy with the way that it's looking so far. I can't wait to get into this highlighter. I'm gonna take my highlighter brush, and this is a Morphe M310, and we're just gonna dab in here. I don't want to be seen from outer space, but I just want a subtle glow. Okay, so I'm going to finish the eyes and the brows, and I will be right back for my final thoughts. So I'm back now that the makeup is done. I really do love the way that it's sitting. It doesn't dry down all the way. I feel like it's still just a touch tacky, even though I put on powder, and it gives me more of a dewy finish, but again, I did put on a pretty thick moisturizer underneath it, so that's probably what that problem is. If I used a little bit of setting powder, I'm sure it would be just fine, or if I didn't use as much moisturizer as I did before coming into this video. I love the way it's sitting. It's covering really nicely. Everything about it is making my complexion very smooth. It looks camera ready. It's really, really beautiful, and the undertones are really nice. It has been a substantial amount of time, about 30 minutes, maybe 45-ish, when I was doing my makeup, and I feel like the actual foundation itself on my skin is not settling into every line or pore. Also, it has not oxidated, and it doesn't look like it has turned orange at all. So I'm really happy about that. I just love it. I just love everything about it, and I think that this foundation is definitely going to be in my rotation more often now that I have it in my collection, and it just sits really, really well, and it can be built up and cover more surface area with less amount of product, and I think that that's a big reason why my skin is still able to breathe. I'm very, very happy with the foundation. I think that it's something that is worth every penny, and I mean, for $38 you're getting a substantial amount of product and not having to use so much, so this will last you a long time. When it comes to my palettes, this one is perfect because it is more on the cooler side to sculpt out my cheeks and kind of bring down my forehead, and then this is more warm just to give me a little bit more of a, you know, alive look because I looked a little dead there for a hot minute, but that definitely brought more life back into my skin without being too orange, and the undertone is just perfect for me. Absolutely love it. And the honeysuckle and dusty rose, this color, I didn't know I loved peach so much. Like, I really love peach. I think it's so pretty. I love it on the skin. You just do one sweeping motion, and again, it is buildable. The powders themselves are super creamy and just, I can't say enough good things. And this is very scary at first. It looks a little bit more glittery in the pan than when you actually put it on. I mean, I put it on with a fan brush. You can still see it catching the light, but it looks like a lit from within look. It doesn't look like it is a chunky glitter that's just sitting on top of my skin. So I'm very, very happy with these purchases. I will be looking into getting the setting powder from him and probably the applicator as well, just because I'm so enthralled with the products. But this one is absolutely amazing, and I love it so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, I will link everything for you in the box below. Please like this video. It would mean so much to me, and give it a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.